Someone may have stolen my pants, but at least they didn't steal my identity. Stay tuned for how you can prevent your identity from getting stolen as well. So, today, we're talking about identity theft, and I found my pants. Also, do you remember where this jacket made its last appearance? It's now dry cleaned, so check it out. So what's the secret? How can you give yourself the ultimate protection against credit identity theft? There are a bunch of different types of identity theft. Somebody could literally wear my mask and walk around looking like Kevin. But we're talking about credit and financial identity theft here, and the ultimate secret weapon to prevent your credit identity from getting stolen. By the way, I'm gonna lean in for this one. The industry doesn't want you to know about this, because it ain't profitable for them, but you should take advantage of it. Make sure to watch the whole video, otherwise you'll miss out. So here's the scoop. We all know our social security numbers are already floating out there in the universe. If you've ever opened a credit card, somebody's got your social security number on file somewhere. If you have never opened a credit card, your social security number is still floating around out there. If you've ever gone to a doctor, opened a utility account, or filed a police report, or virtually anything in life, your social security number gets tracked. By the way, 90% of the time, you don't even really have to give them your social, so just say like NA or don't know it. And another secret, if you're one of the many Americans who keeps your social security card in your wallet, it's a pretty bad idea. Because guess what's also in your wallet, and what are the two things people need to steal your identity? Your social security number and your date of birth. Guess what's usually right next to your social security card in your wallet? Your driver's license. Now they literally have your identity and your social security number and date of birth. So let's do a few prefaces. First of all, what is identity theft? Identity theft is the taking or borrowing of your financial data to gain a financial advantage in qualifying for something the thief might otherwise not qualify for or might otherwise have no intention of paying back. Somebody goes to Macy's and buys $1,000 of Donald Trump ties. They don't sell those there anymore for some reason. The folks at the register ask, hey, would you like to apply for a Macy's card and get 10% off today? So what do? They hand a fake ID, which is really easy to print these days, to the register clerk, and the little monitor asks you some very basic questions. These monitors are designed to make it so stress-free and so easy for you to open up a line of credit. But the point is, on these prompts, they usually ask you maybe a max of 3 questions. What's your social? What's your date of birth? And what's your income? And guess what? That income figure usually doesn't get checked. This is a real Macy's credit card. This Macy's credit card is a store credit card. When I opened up this Macy's card in 2011, see, I'm a loyal customer since 2011. They make me feel loyal. I was making 0, but I told them I was making 500 grand and they gave me a really fat credit line. So anyway, the person stealing your identity enters that information, and usually very quickly, Macy's back end does a quick check of your credit profile. That speeds up the process, and you usually get a receipt that gets printed out right there and goes, great, congratulations, you're approved. Here's your credit line. Here's your temporary card number, and you could shop with this piece of paper temporary credit card as much as you want anytime you come here until your Macy's card comes in the mail. Guess who's on the hook with the bad debt when it comes to be found out that the person who actually opened the credit card is not really the person who bought the stuff? Macy's Financial, or whichever bank they go through, which is quite a bit disconnected from the folks in the store. Henceforth, really easy process to get a credit card in the store, really hard to stop it from happening if somebody has your social and date of birth. The same can be done with car loans, dentistry loans, medical bills, utility bills, you name it. People with your social and date of birth can do a lot of damage to you, and you might not even realize it yet. So what happens? When your identity gets stolen, a few things happen. First of all, unless you have a credit monitoring service, which we're going to talk about whether those are a scam or not a little bit later in the video, if you have a credit monitoring service, hopefully you actually got an alert that somebody just opened up an account in your name. But for the vast majority of people who don't have these credit monitoring service, nothing happens. The person opens a credit card in your name and they walk out of the store. The employees are happy, the customer's happy, everybody just had the best experience possible, especially that thief who just walked out with $1,000 worth of merch and maybe another 10% off coupon to do it all over again. Because guess what? They're gonna max that credit line out and they'll be back tomorrow. And the longer it takes for you to find out that your identity has been stolen, the harder it is for them to go through that surveillance footage and find that thief. At this point, Macy's gives up. They send your information, your social and date of birth, to a collection agency. And they usually say something like, hey, collection agency, if you could get $800 back that's owed on this $1,000 plus fees and interest or whatever, we'll split it with you. You guys keep $400, we'll keep $400, and you know what? We'll call that a charge-off. A charge-off is just a collection. So it started as a debt, a liability, a credit card. It turned into a collection, an unpaid debt, and then it got charged off, which means they kind of just wrote it off and said, well, I guess we lost money on that deal. Oh well, we'll just keep selling credit cards and hope to make up the money by charging 24% interest than the people who actually pay credit card interest. Don't pay credit card interest. So now you might be wondering, well, wait a minute, come on. I mean, as soon as I hear from a collection company, I'm just going to tell them that, hey, I didn't buy that stuff. Well, it ain't that easy. You have to file a police report. You have to file reports with the FTC, that's the Federal Trade Commission. You have to go through heck and back to actually prove that you were not the person who opened this account, because the collection companies look and go, haven't heard that one before. Oh, yeah, somebody else took your name and date of birth and social? Yeah, okay. Eventually, fraud departments and stuff will figure this all out. Hopefully, maybe. Probably not. They'll probably never find the person that did it. Guess what it means for you financially in the meantime? You ain't getting any kind of debt. That might be a good thing for you. Unless you're a real estate investor and you're trying to buy real estate, you're not buying real estate. Until that junk is solved, you're out of the market. So if somebody steals your identity and you were in the process of buying a house, you lost that house, you lost the opportunity to buy the house. Forget about qualifying for anything until that's resolved. Because when you have a collection on your credit, you ain't getting debt. At least not easily. Identity theft sucks. But wait! We have to talk about credit monitoring. Ugh. So, what is credit monitoring and is it a scam? It's not a scam, but it's also not what you think it is. Companies like LifeLock and other companies that sell you credit monitoring are really just insurance companies. For example, in the above scenario where somebody borrowed $1,000 on credit using your social and walked out of the store with that merchandise, kinda sucks. And what the credit monitoring companies will do for you is maybe send you a push notification or an email saying, hey, somebody just opened an account using your social. Just saying. Well, a lot of good that does ya in stopping it from happening. So I kind of consider them pretty much what they are. They're an insurance company, which means if you get your identity stolen and you get chased down for that $1,000 collection, they'll help you fight it. And if you lose the fight, they'll just pay the $1,000 for you, since, you know, you and many other people have been paying 30, 40, or 50 bucks a month just to be told that, hey, congratulations, sucker, your identity's been stolen. I don't know, to me it sounds kind of lame. I kind of actually liken it to, like, let's say you're on vacation and your house burns down and you've got homeowner's insurance and, hey, Geico claims adjuster, what's up, man? You're just the person I wanted to hear from on my vacation. Yeah, bro, your house burned down, but don't worry, we're gonna try to help you pay for this. A lot of good they did in helping you prevent the fire. And look, the credit monitoring services, the many that are out there, the LifeLocks, even Experian, one of the credit bureaus themselves offers this kind of monitoring service. They all offer you a whole suite of information like Norton antivirus or all this other junk. But the bottom line is, I just want something that's gonna make my credit not able to be stolen. I don't know why that's so hard to ask for. And it's not. Since 2012, Lauren and I have taken advantage of something really easy to do and super cheap, and everybody should do it to make sure our identity cannot get stolen in the example that I gave you, and many other ways. Before I make mention of this, I need to define the difference of what a fraud alert is. A fraud alert is either a positive or a negative alert that lets either one of the credit bureaus, one of those 3 credit bureaus, know that, hey, your account might be at risk for fraud, and if somebody tries to open a credit line like at Macy's, maybe instead of just giving me 3 basic questions, maybe ask a few more questions, like what was your mother's maiden name and all this kind of junk. Those are security questions that usually come up when you have a fraud alert active. That's an example of a negative fraud alert. Very much the same when you go on a trip to, say, Germany and you call the credit card company, yo, what's up, credit card company, I'm going to Germany. They say, no problem, we'll put a positive fraud alert on your account. It's like a travel notification or whatever. But the bottom line is it's a positive fraud alert, which says, hey, you're green lighted when you go swipe your credit card in Germany. Oh, but maybe at the same time we should put a negative fraud alert on your account so that if purchases happen in the United States that are not normal or out of your area, we know they're probably not you because you just told us you're going to be in Germany. That's a fraud alert. It doesn't really do much because it's algorithmic and it either works or it doesn't work. Step 1. To preventing your identity from ever being stolen. You should do this and write this down right now because this is very, very good information. Here we go, okay? Let's go. Step 1. To becoming immune to credit identity theft. And remember, I say credit identity theft because there are different ways of stealing your identity. Run your credit report with every single bureau individually right now. It's usually free once per year, and you could go to annualcreditreport.com, which is a website created by all 3 of the bureaus to easily access your credit report. Run all 3 of them. Do not be the person that says, well, I'm just going to run one of them right now, and then I'll run the other one in 3 months, and then I'll run the other one in 3 months later, and then I'll start all over again 3 months after that. No. Run them all right now. This is important. Step 1. Then step 2, read those reports. Make sure they're accurate, because what you're about to do is freeze your credit profile and make sure that whatever's there now doesn't change after today. Number 3, make a plan. When are you going to need your credit again? Do you need to open any credit cards? Do you need to get a loan for something? Are you going to finance a refrigerator? Please don't finance that refrigerator. Get a cheaper refrigerator. They're on Craigslist used for like $100 all the freaking time. They make food cold. If you're not going to need your credit for the next 30 to say 60 days, go to step 4. Step 4, you're going to freeze or lock your credit. That sounds like a hassle. Why don't I just keep monitoring my credit? Because that's stupid, man. What the heck is a credit freeze or credit lock? I'm going to use these terms interchangeably, but they mean the same dang thing. If your credit, like mine, is frozen or locked, and somebody uses your social and date of birth to run your credit, they can still run your credit, but what comes out is 0. Oh, dude, this guy's got his credit locked. We can't touch his credit profile. He could have a 300 credit score. We ain't giving this guy a card. Forget this guy. Hey, your credit's frozen. Can you unlock that? Because they're all zeros. I applied for that. I'll unlock my credit. And like 20 minutes later, yeah, go ahead and run my credit. Oh, I got it. $850, all right. We'll give you the loan. It really is that easy. So you can kind of see that if your credit is frozen, nobody that doesn't already have an existing credit account against you, like if you already have a Macy's account, they can continue to report credit activity to your credit profile. So they kind of like got under the thermofrost and they're already into your credit profile and can continue to say like, hey, this guy's paying on time or he's late. So don't think freezing your credit is a pass for not making your payment anymore. You gotta keep making your payment. This process is really simple, but let's go into the exact details as to how you can do this. Because it does require a little bit of pre-planning. You don't just want to lock your credit and then realize tomorrow you gotta apply for an account. Although I've done that before because I'm always locking my credit. I keep it essentially permanently locked until I need it, and it doesn't take me that long to unlock it. I push a few buttons and it's unlocked. It's really cool. Step 1, to actually freeze or lock your credit. After you've checked your reports, I really want you to do this. And you're gonna think, this is stupid, I could just skip this, but if you get a single digit wrong, it's a headache to deal with. So just do step number 1. Get a piece of paper that you're gonna put in a safe, or use something like I do, like 1Password or Evernote, and write this stuff down. Look, I get it, using online stuff, it can get hacked, blah, 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 blah. So if you don't like that idea, just put it on a piece of paper and lock it up into a fireproof safe. And I don't know, just go hide it under your master vanity or something. Not that that's where we hide ours or anything. So now make a title for each bureau. Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Step number 2, Google each of the bureaus with the words credit freeze following it, and then like whatever the company is in front of it. So Experian, credit freeze. TransUnion, credit freeze. Equifax, credit freeze. You have to do this individually for every single bureau. It sounds like a hassle, don't worry. You're going to have to come prepared with some information. You're going to need things like the previous addresses you've lived at, driver's license, social, date of birth. Sometimes they'll ask you to make a PIN number or a PIN phrase or some security questions, or they'll ask you your mother's maiden name. Have all this stuff, and whatever you answer, in the exact case, like uppercase or lowercase, you write it into the system, write it down. Promise you, you will love this piece of paper. Step number 3, look at that piece of paper or that Evernote or wherever you wrote it down and make sure you actually wrote it all down and you didn't just skip number 1. Step number 4, request a permanent lock on each of your credit bureaus for each person in your family. So in my example, I have to do this 3 times for myself and 3 times for Lauren. You might be thinking, whoa, wait a minute. What does permanent mean? Like, I do want to be able to get loans again in the future. No. Permanent just means it's not temporary. There are 2 types of locks. There's a permanent lock and there's a temporary lock. Temporary locks are max locks at 30 days or max unlocks for 30 days. You don't want that. That's worthless. 30 days is like, oh, wow, dang, I guess my identity is now stolen. Just do the permanent lock and then do temporary unlocks for whenever you actually need access to your credit profile. That's it. 4 simple steps. Favorite question of all. How much does it cost to do this? 0. It costs absolutely nothing for you to lock your credit. 49 states have put laws into place that require people to be able to lock their credit profiles. You should take advantage of the fact that the credit bureaus don't want you to know this because they'd rather get a cut in helping you solve your identity theft problems or sell you credit monitoring or credit insurance in case your identity does get stolen. They make no money with people locking their credit. So you should take advantage of it because it's super dang cheap. What's the catch? The catch is when you unlock your credit, it costs you $10. At least in the state of California, and there are exceptions. Anyway, $10, worst case scenario, per line. So here's what happens to me. When I apply for a credit card, before I apply for the credit card, I pick up the phone and I call the company and I go, hey guys, which bureau are you going to check my credit with? Usually you only have to unlock one of the credit bureaus when you're applying for a credit card. When you apply for a mortgage or a home loan, you usually have to unlock all 3 of them because they run triple credit reports, which means they check every single bureau because they all report slightly different information, and the lenders usually look for your middle score anyway because they know there's so much variance. It takes me about 19 to 22 minutes to unlock and go through the unlock process 6 times. It goes to show you it takes me a little over 3 minutes per unlock. It's really not that big of a deal to unlock it. I've done it a lot. So even if you set aside an hour to unlock and you gave yourself 10 minutes per bureau, per person to do it, that'd be very, very reasonable. So you can see that for $60 and a little bit of an investment of your time, probably not that often anyway. I mean, how often are we applying for a home loan? What, maybe 3 times a year, maybe twice a year? Like, not that often. So not that big of a hassle. I don't care about monitoring because I know nothing can change to it when it's locked, and I don't have to be stressed out when I get word that Credit Bureau has been hacked or Target has been hacked or Home Depot has been hacked. I kind of know my information is out there. That doesn't mean I'm careless with my social, but I also have a whole lot less anxiety. So how do you unlock it other than the cost of unlocking your credit? Pretty much the same thing you did to lock it. You just go through the same, search Google for the credit unfreeze, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. You fill in the information. Some of them make you have a login, a password, or a PIN number. You refer to the piece of paper where you wrote everything down. You fill in the information, and I generally request a temporary unlock. Now, I don't get stingy with this. If a lender says, and I ask him, I go, hey, what day are you going to run my credit for this home loan? Oh, I'll probably run it on Friday. I usually just unlock it for a week or 2 weeks because the last thing I want to do, and I'm pretty busy, is go through the effort of unlocking it, paying the $60, have it lock automatically again, which is kind of cool that it locks automatically again, only for the lender to say, oh, I kind of forgot to run your credit. Can you unlock it all again? So that actually makes the whole credit process pretty interesting in that you have this automatic relocking system that constantly, you open it up, quickly run credit, and then whoosh, doors shut again, locked, like. So I tried sitting down and thinking of some reasons you would not want to do this. You might think, well, you don't use your credit, which is kind of doesn't make sense because if you're over 18 or even if you're younger than 18, your credit and identity could still get stolen and your life of using credit in the future could become pretty miserable, even when it comes to renting a property or applying for a job. Even people who've never had a credit profile before get their identity stolen, including minors. I thought of another reason as to maybe why you wouldn't freeze your credit is maybe you thought, well, what if there's an emergency or something like that? Well, remember, it doesn't take that long to unlock it, so I don't really see that argument mattering. I think probably the biggest annoyance this would be is if you're a churner and you churn credit cards. I used to churn credit cards. So bottom line of it all, they don't make it super easy to do this, but it is super powerful if you do it. I highly encourage you to do it and make your credit profile immune to predators and identity thieves out there.